Ever since I was 15 years old, Color Guard has shaped my life. Hi, my name is Devin, and for the past 17 years, Color Guard has been much more than just a hobby for me. It's been a place where I found confidence, identity, discipline, and purpose. It's how I made sense of the world. Color Guard has given me an outlet to create and goals to pursue in a multitude of ways. So I wanted to share a little bit about my story and what my next plans are in my journey. When I first started in 2008 as a sophomore in high school, I was not athletic. I was extremely shy, quiet, insecure, and wasn't physically capable of doing the things I saw other performers doing around me. But I continued to try and not give up. I loved performing, and I thought that with enough hard work, I'd be able to achieve what I wanted. Eventually, after close to 10 years as a performer, I discovered something that changed everything for me. When I started treating Color Guard like a real sport and had access to train for it intentionally in the gym and outside of rehearsal, my performance capabilities completely changed. I became stronger, more confident, and I realized there were so many performers that were struggling the same way I did. They also didn't have access to the fitness guidance they needed to be successful in Color Guard. That's why I created Spin Strong. My goal with Spin Strong is to help performers and instructors approach Color Guard training differently than we have the last 50 years. Through experience and education-based fitness, strength training, mobility work, injury prevention, and sustainable performance strategies that actually support what we do from people who've done it before. So far, we've helped lots of people approach their training in a better, more informed way, and it makes my heart happy to see those who've been able to achieve more because of what we've offered. But this summer, I want to take that one step further. At Spin Strong, I don't want to just talk about the training process to get better at Color Guard. I want to live it with you. I want performers to see how my advice can help them achieve their goals and be living proof that with the right knowledge and practices, you can accomplish anything. So over the next 4 months, I'm putting myself through the same challenge so many performers dream about. And so many adults think that they're too old to try again. At 33 years old, I will be auditioning for an independent World Guard for the 2027 WGI season. Thank you for coming back to our next video in our series, Back to the Floor. I've gotten quite a few questions about this series, and also just for some advice from some of you who are planning on your own Winter Guard auditions. So I thought I'd throw together a Q&A video to kind of help answer some of those questions and help give you some advice. We're about 1 week out from the Paramount Audition Clinic, which I'm really excited about and also slightly terrified for, but it's okay. I'm really glad we're having one this year because it means I can take some time afterwards to really practice and prepare myself for the actual audition coming up in a few more weeks. So let's get right into it. This question is one I've been asked by people in real life, so I think it's a good idea to start with this one. Are you actually auditioning to march, or are you just doing it for fun? I am doing this for fun. I have no intentions of actually marching this winter if I were to be offered a spot. I know it would be super fun and amazing to get to perform with Paramount again, but at this moment I really just want to focus on my students and my career and my home life, so marching just really isn't in the cards for me to be able to do all of that. But really, I'm actually doing it because I felt that I was just so far removed from being a performer that I didn't think I'd be able to have Spin Strong be as powerful of a resource for those of you that are still marching and participating in Color Guard. So this whole process has really just been let me go through the trenches with you and give you my insight as someone who's been on both sides of the activity now, and make sure Spin Strong could have all the info it needed to be a reliable platform for you all. It's been a really fun process to be able to get to spin again, which isn't really something I do much at all except for writing for my kids or practicing with them. So it's been really great to just revisit what that feels like, and maybe just can be something I do on my own free time still for fun. And it's also kept me really accountable for my fitness and my gym workouts. So thank you all for holding me to that standard. While we're on this, I did once get asked, how do you know when it's your time to be done as a performer? And the truth is, there's no perfect time. Every time you march, it could be an incredible experience, or it may not meet your expectations. So it's not like you can predict the future and know ahead of time which season is going to be the most perfect, happily ever after fairy tale season to end it all on. I kind of knew it was my time because I just didn't really enjoy going to rehearsals as much as I did before. I had a then boyfriend that I really wanted to spend a lot of time with that I didn't get too much during the week. My body was tired. And I really wanted to be teaching and leading my own team. So to do that while also marching didn't feel like I'd be able to give my best for both of those groups. I also got to end it on a show called Until the End. So I think of that as a poetic way for the universe to tell me that it was my time. If you're thinking of being done as in terms of when is it time to grow up, That's not really a fair question. Because yes, we do color guard as young adults, and it can become harder to manage as we're getting older and have more adult responsibilities in our lives. But limiting your participation in it as a point of whether you're too old for it or not is not what I think people need to be thinking of when they're participating in World Class Winter Guard. There is no age out rule in that class for a reason, because I don't really think it's about your age when you're marching. There is no timeline where you're supposed to fit in all of these experiences before you hit a certain number. Yes, it's hard to not want to miss out on performing and spinning and being with your friends. But your season and your experiences is based on what you make of it. And I think if you're willing and able to, you should keep marching as long as you want to. Until you get your fill of everything you're looking to get out of the experience, and if marching isn't becoming too strenuous on your body or your finances or your other responsibilities, then I say march as long as you want to. Doesn't matter if you're in your late 20s or early 30s or even older than that. It's also okay to take a break from it and come back to it at a later time if that's what better suits you. So if you're on the cusp of deciding whether or not you want to march this winter, just weigh your options, do what's best for you. Winter Guard will still be there waiting for you when you're ready. Question 2. Are you auditioning for Paramount? Yes, I am auditioning for Paramount. When I think about it, there are 3 other world-class groups that I would love to be a part of and would try to audition for, but I wanted to respect those organizations' time and didn't want to be there for an unreal consideration when there would be others in the room actually trying to make a spot on the team. So it didn't really feel right to try and participate in those auditions. And I talked with the Paramount staff before I started this series and kind of got their permission to do this, but I don't want that to mean any kind of guarantee that they would take me if given the opportunity. Yes, I marched there for several years and have been doing admin there for several years and also taught on the Open Guard staff last year, but that doesn't automatically mean I should just get a spot. In fact, when I was auditioning for my 3rd year, which was a really competitive audition, I got a call back and I had to work really hard to earn that spot on the color guard. I want to be judged as if I was a real contender for this year's cast. It will probably be very competitive and I may be biting off more than I can chew. But so far, I am just really glad I went through this experience, because I do feel like I've learned a lot more about myself and my capabilities and what I can bring to my followers for Spin Strong. Question 3, are you auditioning on Weapon? Short answer, yes. Not as short answer, yes, because I feel like I have to. If I were seriously considering marching, then I would just be auditioning on Flag and Dance. Flag and Dance proficiency is usually what will get you on the team in most world-class audition settings. And Flag is kind of become my favorite thing to spin, and it's where I feel the most comfortable. So even if you really, really, really want to spin Weapon on a world-class team, you have to be able to execute the Flag and Dance portion of the audition really well. I really do love spinning Weapon, but I do not have as much world-class experience as some of the other members there on Paramount. But I wanted to make sure that I was participating in the full training experience to bring back that info for you all. I've definitely seen a lot of growth in my technique and my abilities and even some tricks that I didn't think I'd be able to do. So it's been interesting to see how my fitness has been contributing to that, even though it's been about 5 years since I've spun a Weapon. I definitely have some bad habits that I still need to iron out, but it's been really fun and I'm just glad I went for it. Now I did spin Weapon in high school. In our fall shows I was usually an extended Weapon, and then I would also spin it when I was on the JV Winter Guard. But like I've talked about before, I was just a little bit of a late bloomer in color guard and didn't really master those foundational skills I needed to be able to take it to that world-class level. I did spin it a lot in my college marching band, but that definitely wasn't the preparation I needed to be able to be on the main Weapon line at the world-class group I marched back in Florida. At least until my last year, because I was a Weapon then and it was a little stressful. But I'm just glad I got to do it at least once. I did try out for Weapon when I was at Paramount, and I did get to spin it in the 2020 show. Shout out to the Back Corner Bladies. But if I were really considering marching again, then I would just want to focus on Flag and Dance. That way I'd have a lot of fun while I perform, I'd still be challenged, but I just wouldn't be overworking myself. Weapon is definitely where I get into my head and I stress myself out, probably because I don't have a lot of experience on it. So for those of you who want to spin Weapon, but it's what's holding you back from being able to compete on a World Guard, it's okay. It's okay to not be a main Weapon. If that's your goal when marching a world-class guard and it doesn't happen, or you don't get to be in the exact Weapon spot that you wanted, it's okay to just take a step back, reevaluate, think about what you need to work on, and then come back to it later. And if you do get to be on the main weapon line at a world-class color guard, congratulations, I'm proud of you. Please make sure you remember the flag warm-up exercise. Question 4. What are the exercises you're doing for your injury? So I do a morning routine in front of my bathroom mirror about 3 times a week. It consists of just some basic neck stretches and then a couple of activation exercises. But then I have another routine that I do once I've kind of gotten up and gotten my coffee and started my day. This one is just 10 minutes long, and I do each exercise for about 50 to 60 seconds. So here are those exercises. Cat-cow. All 4 twists. So I'll reach this one just to here. Reach through just a little bit. Halfway, about 25 seconds of that one, and then switch to the other side. So soft elbow here. Reaching through. Soft bend in the opposite arm. Go back up. Sitting thoracic rotation, so elbows up, twisting side to side, nice and slowly, feeling that rotation on the top. I'll do a little Sphinx pose here, keeping my shoulders out of my ears. Hold this for about 25 seconds, and then transition all the way up to a full cobra. Then I do a goalpost arm floor stretch. So, laying on the ground, hope you guys can see me okay. Laying on the ground, I'll do this arm so you can see one arm, elbows straight out from your shoulder, palm flat on the floor, same side ear on the ground, and this hand can be here to help brace. And just slowly twist over. Feel that stretch in the shoulder blade. You can twist a little bit more, bring that other leg to the side. Just increase the intensity. And then 25 seconds on that, same thing other side. From there, I'll do serratus wall slides, but I do them without the wall. I want to make sure I'm sitting up nice and tall. I'm using my shoulders rolled back to keep these back muscles activated. I'm starting with my hands high above my head and then slowly pulling those elbows down to the side, feeling the muscles in my back working on the way down especially, and then on the way back up. Then going back to that goalpost arm, elbows straight out from the shoulder. I use both of them, slowly rotate them back down to the front and up. I especially feel this in my shoulders. And this one is a little strenuous, so if you need to take a break in the middle of it and then start up again, just try to do this one for the full minute. These next 2, I recommend having just a lot of space around you on the floor. So this first variation, laying down on the stomach, arms straight out in front of you. Start with the head on the floor, and then as it comes up, these first counts here, up, 2, arms back, 2, stay lifted, keep the shoulders out of the ears, here, and back down. This one kind of challenges my endurance a little bit more than my flexibility. Starting with the head off the floor, arms are long in front, pull the elbows in nice and tight, and then trying to squeeze the shoulder blades together 4 times, come back out, and relax. Lift, in, up, 3, and 4. Back out with the arms, drop them down. The last exercise here is serratus wall slides. So just find any wall where you can lean your body up against. You'll have your hands in line with your shoulders. You'll have your feet somewhat pretty far away from the wall, and then soft bend in the elbows. You're just going to drop your chest towards the wall and expand through by your shoulders. So you should feel your shoulder blades squeezing together here on the bottom and then stretching away from each other at the top. So just soft bends in the elbows, keep your neck nice and long. Do this for about 50 seconds to a minute. When it comes to being able to do weightlifting with this injury, I just tend to be a little more cautious about how heavy I'm lifting and make sure I'm not overexerting myself with reps or with a high amount of volume, and make sure that my technique and alignment is good. My doctor has kind of showed me how I can recognize when it's starting to become a little aggravated and has told me numerous times to not try and push through the pain. Something I know sometimes we just don't know how to do as color guard performers. So that was a bit of a learning obstacle for me, but it's okay. It's always better to just lift lighter and not aggravate the injury or make it worse, because then it can just put me out for several days and I won't be able to lift at all. Question 5. What are some difficulties you've had to deal with in your audition process? One of the biggest difficulties has honestly just been getting back into spinning after so much time away, while also trying not to get discouraged or overwhelmed by the process. I really only decided that I wanted to do this audition about 3 months ago now, so I've really not had a very super long amount of time to work towards it. There are definitely days where I don't feel like I'm doing well and my body hurts, or I feel like I'm really behind where I thought I would be by now. And it's difficult to not let those days convince me that I shouldn't be trying. I'm also a very type A person, so I've had to learn how to be much more flexible about my expectations. I tend to make very detailed plans about what do I want to accomplish each day, but those plans don't always account for real life, fatigue, pain, or just having an off day. When something throws that schedule off, my instinct tends to be to start feeling like I've already fallen behind and I have to rework the entire plan to make it make sense for right now. I don't need to do that, so learning to readjust and not just freeze has been a little bit of a learning curve for me. Setting more realistic goals each day and being okay with what I actually do get to accomplish has helped me stay much more consistent. Another difficulty has been learning to believe that I'm worthy of taking up space in this environment, especially on Spinning Weapon, but the flag book at Paramount can be just as hard. There's a part of me that still wants to just stay with what I'm comfortable with because it feels safer. But that's not really why I'm auditioning. I want to be challenged, and I want to put myself in a position where I'm genuinely evaluated and can hold my own within that space. That's scary, but I also think it's a really important part of this process for me. This whole experience has also forced me to confront my history with Color Guard and how much time I feel like I've lost. I have to accept that I can't go back and change what I didn't know 3 months ago, or 5 years ago, or 15 years ago. I can only work with where I am now. Some of my original goals have had to be watered down or readjusted to genuinely fit the time frame I have. And learning how to adjust a goal doesn't necessarily mean giving up on it. So really the hardest part hasn't been the physical training, it's been learning how to stay motivated and adaptable, while accepting that I can't control how quickly this process happens. Before we end this, I also want to address something that I know some people are thinking. My age. I am 33 years old, and I will probably be the oldest person in the room attempting to audition this season. But I don't actually believe being 33 is a constraint that will affect my ability to accomplish this goal. My age changes how I train. It changes what I have to be aware of. I've accumulated years of experiences, injuries, learning what my body responds well to, what it doesn't respond well to, and where I need to focus my discipline if I want to achieve at a high level. That's not an age issue, that's just an awareness issue. So I'm not trying to train as if I'm 23. I'm trying to train in a way that gives 33-year-old version of me the best opportunity to succeed. And I just think that's the mindset every performer should have, whether you're 16 or 23 or 33. If you're on the same audition journey as I am, your goal should be to learn and understand yourself well enough to be able to build a training plan that helps you be successful and reach your goals. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that I was able to answer some of your questions that you may have. And if you're not already, make sure you subscribe to our channel and follow us on Instagram and at TikTok at spinstrong_official, where we can help you spin your strongest. Bye.